Kar seješ, to žanješ. V oddaji Klepet ob kavi sejemo srečo, zdravje in ljubezen.
Dobrodošli v našem klepetu, tokrat z zelo posebnim gostom, Gerom Lyonsom. Z njim se bom pogovarjala v angleščini. Welcome, Ger.
Thanks, Brian.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Well, today, thank you so much for coming to our studio and talking about most important thing, health, healing, which is important for all of us.
Yeah.
So tell us about transformational cellular healing. What does that mean? Why cellular?
So cellular healing it's a very deep and very powerful process where people who carry pain or trauma or illnesses sometimes can go into a deep meditative state and allow this trauma or the origins of sickness or disease to come up and come out in a very gentle way, but in a very powerful way. So it's a very potent way of healing naturally, and we use music. There is sound and meditative practices and all kinds of different exercises that can invoke and bring this trauma to the surface where it can be released. So it's
and in communication with the divine.
Yes.
Talking to however you want to call great spirit, right?
Yeah, there's a spiritual element to it which is very much inclusive and non-religious, but however deeply spiritual, that gets people to connect to their own sense of centered self, which communicates with the universe, the intelligence of the cosmos, the intelligence of whatever created this whole thing, right? And so it's almost like the healing is a byproduct or a like an after effect in a way of this deep connection to the divine, connection to God, connection to the intelligence of the universe, or whatever you want to call it.
And it's that energy that heals rather than the person facilitating, isn't that so?
Absolutely, yeah. And that's one of the most important things, and any good healer will tell you the same thing. It's like we are not the healers. We're really not doing anything. We facilitate the process of each person's communication with their own source and their own origin. And we kind of translate or interpret the energy and help the person as best we can, but the energy comes from a different place. It's not coming from us, it's coming through us and through the person, and it helps to align, and it designs this or engineers this whole thing in the body where it comes through, and the energy, the intelligence of the energy knows exactly where to go to the exact source of the discord. I don't, or we don't, but the intelligence of this energy, when it comes through, knows exactly itself where to go to the origin of the disease or the trauma or whatever, and it pulls it out and pushes gently, so it comes out in a very powerful way.
So it's good to be aware of many gurus, unfortunately, who still suggest, come to me, I will give you something, rather than it's your own connection, helping you become aware of your own strong connection and your intuition. Right? Which brings me to the next question. Some people maybe are all about just Western medicine. They will only see the doctor and never a healer.
Yes.
And then some others would only see a healer no matter what, rather than ever seeing a doctor.
Yeah.
How do you see it? What's the best way? What's the balance?
Yeah, interesting. I see it in a very balanced and harmonious way. All doctors are healers. Doctors and nurses are healers. And I think it's essential and crucial, it's really necessary to use every form of healing, whether it's Western modern medicine or alternative complementary medicine or healing or spiritual healers or pretty much anything that can help you whatever, because there's a time and a place for everything, and there's a time and a place to go see everyone. So I've met people over the years who are quite extreme and will never, like you said, will never go see a doctor, and that's actually can be quite dangerous. And also the opposite, some people who will only see a doctor and will not even open up, or if they have a closed mind, they don't even see that there's this huge spectrum of potential and possibilities of going to other people where very powerful healing can happen. So I think it's important to get that, to just be open to everything and to be inclusive of everything. And because you might go to some doctors, you might go to, out of 10 doctors, 2 might diagnose you accurately, or 8 or 9 might diagnose you accurately. You go to 10 healers, the same thing might happen, right? So something and somebody will work for everybody. There's always a way, there's always a solution. It's just a matter of finding it, going to the right person, whoever it is, and going to the right place at the right time. And there's really, I found in my explorations over the years, there's always a way for many, many different issues and problems and diseases often.
You're a very powerful healer, but would you see a doctor if need be?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I see, if I need to, I will go immediately to the doctor. I won't even think about it. And you can, sometimes you can feel and you just intuitively know that, okay, this is working for this whole spectrum of illness or sickness, but there's a time and a place, and if I need to, I will go get whatever I need. And so I see anyone who's engaged or involved in any kind of medicine or healing, or even the most bizarre or random tribal, healers from, like a Sangoma healer from South Africa who lives in the bush, can be just as powerful. And there's this whole spectrum of possibilities. So if we get locked into one small mindset, whichever side of the fence it's on, if there was a fence. And so what I've done in my own practice and in my own life is I've just taken that fence away, and I see everybody with the same value and have this huge spectrum of open possibilities and potential where we can all work together, and something at some point will work for everybody.
Perfect. You come from Ireland, so you carry Druidic, old ancient wisdom in your blood, and yet traveling the world, being invited to so many different continents and countries, it seems like you're bringing all of it together. And is it true, or maybe not, that most of us as human beings have similar difficulties, similar issues? Is that correct? So our intuition, as you said before, you know exactly what to do to see the doctor or pray or whatever, is something we're only developing because of all the probably traumas and imprints in our cells. And you often talk about how important it is to express if you are traumatized or if you are suffering, to ask for help. How do you notice this with people who come to you for help as well in your circles? Yeah.
One of the most important thing in any kind of healing is when somebody comes with something is to listen very carefully, is to take the time and spend time to listen. I don't so much tell people what to do or where they should go or whatever. I'd listen very deeply and very carefully to everything they say. And that expression that people make, once the silence is broken, the silence has to be broken. And whatever has gone on for them, whatever the trauma is, whatever the damage might be, that story is crucial. It's really important to hear that, and it's very important for them to be heard, to be acknowledged, to be recognized, for it to be out. Because sometimes people can keep these secrets and these, really horrific events sometimes that they have gone through and experienced, which is really painful. And that pain, and also the huge volcano of emotions that go with that pain, whether it's rage or grief or confusion or whatever the damage is, that needs to come out. And that in itself can create you know, a lot of pain and a lot of future illnesses sometimes. So one of the most important things is to break the silence, is to talk to somebody, express it. Even if you don't go to a healer or a workshop or something, talk to somebody. Even if it's one person, even if it's your best friend or somebody you trust, somebody who cares about you, whoever you feel like will listen. And that listening is crucial. I've had people who've come to workshops and we just listen to everything they say and they talk themselves through their own healing. And it's really beautiful. And sometimes there's...
Almost like it affects the cells, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because all that energy from the emotion and all the energy from the trauma, it's all held in the cellular memory, right? So everything, your cells record everything. So once you start to express it, once you start to talk about the things often that you feel like you can't talk about or you won't, or it might even be dangerous sometimes, it's really important to at least go somewhere or find somebody, even if it's your best friend, somebody that you can just talk to about some of this stuff. And that in itself is a very first crucial step to healing. And
Can I just quickly ask you, we hear many stories in many countries when abused people come to their closest family, or sometimes, you know, in different kinds of abuse. And then that person said, if you didn't wear a short skirt, this thing wouldn't happen to you. And then the silence just stays on end. So probably you need to find somebody who will have compassion for you rather than judge you in the very beginning, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's very common, and that's something to be aware of and to be careful of, is that when somebody does open up and say, look, this happened to me, this is what happened, I was attacked or I was raped or I was abused or whatever it was, whatever it might be, it's so important that whoever you're telling doesn't judge you, right? And this is one of the difficulties, even going through the judicial system, the legal system, or even sometimes even your parents. A child will come to their parents and you're not believed, or it's put back on you like it was your fault, like, well, you shouldn't have been wearing a short skirt.
Double trauma.
Right? What it does is it actually re-traumatizes the trauma. So you're opening up this huge wound, or this very sensitive and very vulnerable and fragile thing that somebody's talking about, and then it's re-traumatized. And that's just wrong. That's just wrong. If somebody comes and they've been attacked, to put that back on them, to say, well, you shouldn't have been doing this, that is just wrong. And that's that's making the person who is attacked, it's making it their fault, and that can mess up your mind. It can twist up your mind. It's crazy making. It can make you feel like crazy, or like you doubt yourself, and that's really,
and maybe
it's
that's
really
why
not
many
okay.
people don't speak up, don't dare to share what happened to them, because they feel guilty, right? And they're scared.
Yes.
What would be the best moment to forgive somebody? Often we just go into this maybe premature forgiveness and just say it's not their fault, or they were traumatized before, which is all true. People who create trauma are often found traumatized in their own childhood or even past lives. So what's a healthy way to forgive yourself and the other person who hurt you?
So an important thing with forgiveness is that forgiveness is quite a complex thing, and there's all kinds of situations and times and places. But one of the most important things I feel like is forgiveness. You never have to forgive the act that was done. If somebody did something really bad, you never have to forgive that. That's some things that are done are unforgivable. Forgiveness comes from at its deepest level, and it can be a long-term journey. It can take years, it can take lifetimes, it can take a long time or a short time. But the important thing is that you'd never have to forgive the act that was done. That was just wrong. That will always be wrong. But what is important is that you can at some point keep walking in the direction of forgiveness and bringing back to love. In time, and as I said, it might take years, but you can forgive that soul who has come into this body, and on some higher level, we're all playing out our dramas and traumas, and this is like drama, trauma, karma show, this whole life, right? In a way, it's like a theater, and in a way, it's like a show. On some level, you can look at it from that perspective, and so when we come to a place of forgiveness, we can forgive. It's like the ultimate healing, but it can take years. But one of the mistakes people make is sometimes we try to forgive too quickly without seeking justice or making our community safe. So if somebody is dangerous in our community, they need to be stopped, they need to be maybe arrested, maybe put in jail, maybe make our community safe. And then you can start to go, okay, what happened them that this person is like they are? Because hurt people, right? So a lot of people just operate out of their pain all the time, out of grief and rage and different things. Some people had horrendous upbringings, and some people just, there's sociopaths and psychopaths, and some people just have some stuff missing, and it's like, they're just not operating correctly, and they're not good people, and they intentionally harm other people. So we gotta be careful of that. So
what if there's psychopaths are really people with severe trauma or difficulties. Yeah. What if I did something wrong? For example, if you are the one who hurt somebody and you didn't intend it, but you see the person suffering, maybe you said something, maybe you did something to cause harm. What's the best way for you to heal? So if you're the victim, you would speak up, share, at least seek help, heal it, however best way your intuition tells you to do. But what if you're the one causing harm? Yeah. What would be the thing? Yeah,
good question. So the an important thing about that is that we all make mistakes, right? We're all human. We all do messed up stuff. I do messed up stuff. We all do.
Sorry, because I'm thinking of those who beat themselves up, don't do nothing, or just don't do nothing and say, it's just who I am, get a grip, or something like this. So, okay.
Yeah, it's really common, and it's so we all make mistakes as humans. It's human nature. It's not wrong to make mistakes, it's just normal, right? But the important thing is when we do make a mistake, when we do something wrong, often for some people it's often unintentional, it's unconsciousness, a lack of awareness, it's a lack of sensitivity, which are all different things. So sometimes people don't really mean to make mistakes or mess up or hurt each other, and sometimes there's a difference between, what you can say something offensive, not realizing that it's offensive to this other person, but I've said it, and I don't know actually how it landed with the other person. If they're in a sensitive open space, it might hurt them, And we all do that. We all offend each other sometimes. So if it's a small thing like that, the important thing is that when I do make a mistake, when I do mess up, or when I do hurt somebody unintentionally, then it's important to acknowledge it, own it, like I've done this thing, and to apologize and seek to make amends. I am so sorry, I messed up, that was my fault. How can I fix this? If I break the cup, if I drop the cup on the floor and it smashes to pieces, I'm not just going to walk away and just go whatever, right?
I didn't mean to do it, and it's all good.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna say, I am so sorry I did this. This was your cup. I'm so sorry about this. And I'm going to get you a new cup. Please forgive me for breaking your cup. I'm going to go into town tomorrow and get you a new cup. So, and that like an apology is one of the most healing things we can do. And people don't realize this often. It took me ages to realize the very depth of what a sincere apology can do. It can heal a lifetime of trauma. And so making a mistake is not abuse. What abuse is if I know I did something wrong or very wrong, and I refuse to acknowledge it or to own it, like I did this.
Take responsibility.
To take responsibility for it, exactly, and to apologize for it, and to seek to make amends. If I don't do these things, then it's abuse.
And thank you, Ger, and say the magic word, I'm sorry, which is often, as you say, the most healing thing we can do. Thank you so much, Ger. And in conclusion, Let us all remember, if we've been abused in any way, shape or form, there's always help. There's always somebody there for us to help us. And if we did something, just sometimes a magic word, I'm so sorry, helps. Torej, zaključujemo s temi čudovitimi besedami našega dragega gosta Gera Lyonsa iz Irske, z veliko hvaležnostjo, da se na tak način povezujemo v celem svetu. Kot smo že večkrat slišali, kri je v vseh nas rdeča in se lahko res učimo drug od drugega. Hvala lepa, Ger. Thank you.
Pristopa k cepljenju, kakršnega priporoča dr. Korepanov. To pomeni cepljenje šele po tem, ko odpravimo parazite, ne moreš zaslediti nikjer.